On the 27th of August 2024, this trailer dropped on Instagram with no other explanation than a new and exciting badminton experience is coming soon. This certainly led to a few questions, mainly what is this? What is the BXL? Well, the very next day we got some answers. An exciting prospect, and over the coming weeks we would get more and more videos from players who would be involved.
Abakaba Indonesia, it's Victor Axelsen here. I'm super excited that I'll be playing at the Badminton-XL in October.
I'm Yusin. I will be playing Badminton-XL this October.
I'm Alexander Breuer, and I'm very excited to be a part of the Badminton-XL.
I'm Aaron Chia. I'll be playing at the Badminton-XL this October in Jakarta.
I am Klut Wisan from Thailand. I am so excited to play Badminton XL League.
Hai guys, saya Hendra Setiawan. Sebentar lagi Badminton XL akan digelar di bulan Oktober.
That is a star-studded lineup filled with not just some of the world's best, but Olympic champions both present and past. However, what got me the most interested was when they posted this, giving an explanation into the event itself. Timed matches, sudden death points, substitutions allowed, teams can put more points on differing matches, and maybe the most exciting of all, 3v3 doubles. 3v3 doubles isn't something new, it's an event that has been used in the China League for a number of years now. But whilst it isn't new, it is incredibly exciting, offering incredibly fast-paced matches with barely any room for the players to manoeuvre. So with this, combined with the fact that teams will be made up of players from all different countries, so there will be lots of new and exciting pairings to watch, I must say I was incredibly excited to watch this tournament play out. And well, let's just say it didn't disappoint.
What a speed we can see here, how the game continues, wow.
So now the dust has settled. The inaugural Badminton XL tournament is complete. It is time to look back at it and talk about what was good, what was bad, what could be improved, and ultimately, is this a good thing for badminton? There's so much that I loved about this event, this tournament, but I think I'll start with the biggest one, the one that I loved the most, and that was the 3v3 doubles. I don't think I'm alone in that thinking. Doubles events, especially men's doubles, is incredibly exciting, the 2v2. Add another person each side of the court and that excitement and energy just goes up another level. You know, it's also incredibly frantic and at times it does seem a little bit dangerous, I'm not going to lie. It looked like the players were going to crash into each other, especially when you consider that they don't train together, they've never played together, so all of that together just led to some absolutely amazing rallies, some true excitement on court, and the 3v3 created the biggest highlights from the whole tournament. There were plenty of them to go around, both on court and off court, but the 3v3s were the absolute highlight, and to finish each tie on that and have so many points, I think 3 points on it, it made it so incredibly exciting. Now, like I said in the introduction, 3v3 isn't a new concept. Obviously it's been used as a training tool, a lot of double players will use it as a training match. Obviously also it's been used in the China League for quite a while, and I always really enjoyed those matches, so it was great to see it back at this event, and I think it just gave another layer. Obviously they had the different scoring system with the 4 rounds of 10 minutes, matches could be worth 1 or 2 points. Obviously you can also have doubles players playing with singles players and doubles events, you know, all these different elements that were a bit different to what we're used to, but obviously 3v3 is completely new in terms of obviously you don't have 3v3 tournaments, although I would like to see that happen. I think if you can, that could be if anyone out there has the money and the means, they should organise a 3v3 tournament. I would absolutely love to watch that, and I know I'm not alone. But yeah, 3v3 for me was the absolute highlight, and that's saying a lot because there was plenty, as I said, that I absolutely loved about this event, but I really liked the fact that they brought that in. It was incredibly exciting, and I also think it's going to do wonders for badminton. That's why I say that a 3v3 tournament could be a really good idea, because on Reddit or on social media sites, there's been plenty of badminton rallies that have gone viral, and most of them are men's doubles matches for obvious reasons. You know, the incredibly fast exchanges. I think the most famous one is Kimura and Sonoda versus Mads Conrad and Mads Kolding from the 2016 Super Series finals. And I think one big reason for that was that this guy called the Aussie commentator, I believe. I don't know if that's his actual name, but you know, he did basically all these videos where he commentates on different sporting things and things going on, and he did that rally and it went absolutely viral.
Volume up to 11, Denmark responds by doing some freaky superhuman shit. Now Japan says, take it, take my shuttlecock, can you fucking take it? And they win it with a slam. Wowee, I thought ping pong was exciting. This is next level shit.
And I've seen plenty of others on Reddit and stuff that get the similar, and every time they are, even people that are not badminton fans are all like 99% of people are like, wow, what the hell, this is so fast, so exciting. If they got to see 3v3, it's like men's doubles on speed. It's absolutely even more mental. So I think that the potential for it to go viral is huge, and virality is not the only thing, but what it would do is obviously it just gets badminton onto screens of more people. So there's more chances for people to kind of be introduced to our sport and then obviously hopefully become fans and stick around. So it can only be a positive thing. Just like this event overall, I think has that effect, but the 3v3 in particular is something that for me was a huge highlight and something that I think badminton should play on. Another thing leading on from 3v3 was the fact, and I already mentioned this, that the different combinations we got to see, not just different doubles players, so from different countries playing together, but we also got to see some singles players playing with the doubles players. That happened in the women's doubles matches a few times. So that was always really interesting, you know, when you get to see the same players and pairs playing together week in, week out, just to get something new and refreshing is good, and to see how different country styles can link up. I really enjoyed watching Sursun Jae and Sabar Gautama play. You know, they can get more polar opposite styles, Indonesian and Korean. You know, you have Sursun Jae, who's very, you know, Korean in his approach, very basic, you know, simple, hardworking, doesn't make too many errors. And then you've got Gautama, who's like zipping around trying all these crazy shots, and so to see those two play together was really fun. To see Aaron Cha and Terry Yi play together, that was also really good. Obviously they're both Malaysian, but usually within a Malaysian pair you have the one steady player and the one kind of skillful, bit more outlandish player, and so to see two skillful, outlandish players come together really made some memorable moments, and they seemed to really enjoy themselves. I liked watching Yuta Watanabe play with Tang Chun Man and also Sobu Yik. All the men's doubles pairs, Hendra Setiawan and Tang, was it Tang? Yeah, Tang was also really good. And even in the women's doubles, there were some really exciting partnerships that I enjoyed watching. I particularly liked watching Alexandra Boe and To Wei. They were really good to watch. But all the pairings across all the matches, men's doubles and women's doubles, were all really fun. You know, because like I said, you got to see the different styles come together. How are they going to match up? Obviously, the whole ethos of this event was it was serious, but it was also fun. So the players were really enjoying themselves, which just brings out everything. You know, ramps it all up and just made it far more. I think watching players enjoy themselves, obviously as a viewer, you end up enjoying it too. And that leads on to the next point, is that I think this tournament had a really nice balance between fun and entertaining, but also somewhat serious. Sometimes when I watch exhibition events, sometimes because it's purely for fun, the player, to me, it gets a little bit too slow. So one really fun part of badminton is how fast it is. And when you watch these exhibition events, sometimes they go so much into that, not silly is the wrong word, but trying things and helping each other, that there was, it gets too slow and it gets a little boring. There's obviously some really fun moments, but in general, you can kind of watch they're going, all right, I'd rather watch them just play a proper match. So this tournament had that really nice balance where the players were playing seriously, but they knew they were also having lots of fun with it because, yeah, there was money on the line, and obviously being competitive, being athletes, they're going to be competitive, but they all took it with that same level of funness and not taking it too seriously. So it kind of really struck that balance, and that for me was really enjoyable to watch because you still have the speed and the frantic and the excitingness of badminton as the sport, but you got to see players not really worrying about trying maybe at times the crazy shot or playing up to the crowd a little bit. It had those moments interspersed throughout, and that for me was really, really fun and exciting to watch. It was also really good to see it coming from players that I didn't expect. I think as the tournament progressed, Surson Jay, again, I've mentioned him before, but you know, he came out of his shell, and I think I've seen a lot of people comment online that they'd never seen that side of him, so that was really good to see. And then we got to see it from loads of other players too. So I think the fact that this tournament struck that nice balance for me personally was a really huge plus and something I thoroughly enjoyed. Yeah, I kind of already mentioned this in the last one, but it was, you know, great to see the players really truly enjoying themselves. It was almost like a slight breakaway from the brutality of the tour. You know, we talk about badminton, the World Tour being ruthless, you know, week in, week out, there's tournament after tournament. So it was quite good to see the players really enjoying themselves and being relaxed, and the fact that they were willing to do that, you know, at a time where there's probably a few weeks where they could finally get a break from badminton, finally get a break from travel. To see them actually turn up and really enjoy it was really good. It was also really interesting. I mentioned Surson Jay came out of his shell in a bit. You also got to see other big personalities on court and off court, and the camaraderie between the players. That was also really good, because I not only watched most of the matches on court, but I also closely followed all the social media posts by the BDMNTN-XL team and Badminton Talk and all the other people that were involved. And there were some really good moments. There was one, I think, where Victor's playing Kodai and it's 2-all, you know, sudden death point in the fifth, and then someone's filming the backstage where the next players to come on are watching it, and they're all kind of getting excited. And when I think Victor finally wins, the support and the celebration backstage as well as by the side of the court was captured. And there was other moments, I think, another one with I think it's Yuta Watanabe and Tang Chun Man and Aaron Cha and Toi Wei. No, that's not Toi Wei, sorry. Toi Yi. And they're kind of like laughing and joking with each other and just having a great time behind the scenes, just as they're about to go out and have a match. And then when they did go out, their match was also really good. So yeah, it was really good to see all these players enjoy themselves. They were willing to do it, even though it was a chance for them to probably take a break from badminton. You got to see so much more of their personality. Some of them, it was completely different to what you'd expect. Some of them not so much. Someone like Yuta Watanabe, I think we all knew he was an entertainer. I've known that ever since I saw his Titantron at the All England, the first show he played, where he gave it the big thumbs up, and I was like, yep, that guy's a character. And it completely came out again here. You know, he was dancing for the crowd, he was cheering them up, celebrating. I think even one match where he won the last point, although he lost the overall match, he celebrated like he won, because he was probably thinking, last point is the one that counts, you know, winner takes all kind of attitude. So yeah, no, it was really good to see the players in a different light. Obviously we see them at exhibition events and on social media you might see that kind of personality, but when they're involved, when it's linked directly to badminton, an event like this, that was really good. And I think it's something that's important to showcase for badminton. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed that and absolutely loved that side of it. And lastly, I think another thing that I actually loved was the fact that the players themselves were very well compensated. I'm not sure exactly, I can't remember off the top of my head how much each player won for the winning team, but all players involved were paid quite handsomely from what I've heard, from what I can remember. So I think that's really good, because, you know, without the players we haven't got a sport. I know we also need we do need the BWF, and we need other people like these lot that ran this tournament, and obviously we need the fans, and I'll get to the fans in the next section. But the fact that without the top players we don't really have the sport, the fact that they were well compensated for their work for playing at this tournament was just great to see. And I think with that we're going to hopefully continue to have this event running each year, and it will hopefully get bigger and better, even more top players, even more legends and all that kind of stuff. But I'll talk more about that in the next section, or in later sections. So for me, all those things I absolutely love. The 3v3 doubles, I quite like I mentioned this, I did like the concept of the timed games. The different aspects, the fact that each tie wasn't just worth 1 point, there's different points involved, that you could substitute, that you got to see different combinations, you got to see all the characters, the personalities, the players enjoying them, and of course you got to see 3v3 doubles, which I'm an absolute huge fan of. So yeah, plenty of things that I loved about this event. There are some things I think, not necessarily I didn't like, but I think that there is definitely room for improvement. Of course, this is just the first year, so I'm going to get into that now, some areas that I believe this event could improve on. I think rather than, obviously in the first section I did things that I loved, I think rather than just saying things that I thought were bad, because I don't think there was anything inherently bad, I think it's better to say things that could be improved upon, things that need to be considered if this is to go ahead for a second time, things that I think need to be considered anyway. And I think the first one is it needs to have better marketing. All those social media posts I put out in the introduction barely got views, barely got likes. I mean, even myself, I only noticed this event probably a few weeks ago, and there'd been all this social media stuff around it since the end of August. I don't know whether that's because this thing was organised last minute. I don't think it was. And by last minute I mean, within the space of a few months, which is quite a short time for a big event. There must have been talks with the players involved. But I think with better marketing, this could have actually hyped up even more interest, possibly could have helped. It could have had one aspect, could have helped with the fact that it did seem a little quiet in the Astora. It definitely seemed a bit empty. There's another reason for that I'll get to next. But one big thing is I think that it lacked that marketing. Just getting the name out, it should have had it being plastered everywhere as much as it can. I don't know why they didn't do that, or maybe they did out in Asia. Just for me, from Europe, I didn't notice it until a few weeks ago, and I was like, what is this? I think I saw Victor Axel post something, and I was like, oh, what's that? So I checked it out, and I was like, oh, okay. And obviously, I then got interested and watched it. But had it not been for one random occurrence, then I would not have even noticed this event until right when it happened. So I think, I do believe now they've got 1 year under their belt, obviously they can use that in the marketing if they're going to do it again next year, which I believe they're going to. So hopefully that's something that they obviously probably figured out that they need to improve on. So yeah, better marketing. The next one is, in the last section I said that what makes the sport is obviously we need the athletes, we do need organisations like the ones that ran this tournament, and the BWF are part of that, of course we do need them. But the other one is obviously the fans, us, and from what I heard, that similar to what happened a little bit at the Indonesia Open this year, or the Indonesian Masters as well, was that the pricing for the tickets was just too expensive. Granted that a lot of these matches happen during the week when people were probably working. When I watched the first match, I thought it was incredibly quiet, and I thought, well, it's being played in the morning on a weekday, maybe it will get better over the weekend, and it did get better, but it never really ramped up. Somewhere like the Astora should have been absolutely shaking with an event like that, and so I think that, I'm no businessman, but don't price the basic fans out of the event. Maybe obviously there's a lot of money going into this, they had to make their investment back, and ticket pricing is one big part of that. But I feel that that shouldn't get in the way of the atmosphere within it, because if you're not getting that many fans in, if you're not packing that house out, it's not going to be as exciting to see. A full Astora crowd behind that event would have been absolutely huge. Would have been absolutely, it would have leveled it up for me.
Excellent defense. Tries to reach it. Incredible. Totally is on the floor, and he reaches again. Gets the return. She is unbelievable.
Those two things, better marketing, but also just considering that the ticket price, it was just too expensive from what I've heard. So I think a lot of people weren't able or willing to pay that much to go view it. Okay, so those kind of like main gripes, I guess. And another area I think that this tournament could improve would be, I actually think that the timing could be reduced. So it was 4 rounds of 10 minutes. I think you could reduce that quite heavily, even to a few minutes long each quarter. But every time that the shuttle ends, the rally ends, the clock stops. So a bit like in American sports, once a player's ended, the clock stops. I think that would obviously get rid of, no one really did time wasting or anything, because I think it was serious, but not that serious that people are going to want to kind of do that at an event like that. It was much more light-hearted, but I still think it would be more of a fun way, because then there's elements you could bring in. You could have timeouts with the coach, could call for a timeout. I'm not sure if that actually was part of it, but I didn't see anything. But yeah, no, reduce the time so that you can get the matches done. Obviously, if you reduce it to say 3 minutes, but you stop it, it will eventually grow to. It could grow, obviously, to a longer time. But I just think it would make it. It would open itself up to better ideas. On top of this, I think there's actually room within this to go for even more, I don't want to use the word, but gimmicks or non-badminton things that we don't see. Obviously, badminton doesn't have a time system. Badminton team events, if a match is won, it's worth 1 point. Obviously, you can't substitute players, and of course, there's no 3v3. But I think there's room for plenty more things like that. Like you could have, so sometimes if obviously a league got away, you can only win 1 point at a time. So obviously, if a league got to a certain point, there's no way of getting it back. But maybe there's a way to have where certain rallies are worth double points, or zones on the court. So imagine in a doubles game, suddenly the sidelines, if you can hit a clean winner into the sidelines, it's worth like 3 points. I don't know, you can go absolutely crazy with this because it's something outside of the general badminton world. There's really no limits to this. You can be as crazy as you like, and I think it would actually, this kind of format would allow itself to work still and be very enjoyable, so long as they're quite simple things. Like I said, like, okay, this next point, as long as the people viewing on TV can understand and in the crowd and the players get it, but this point's worth triple points, whatever, or this zone on the court, and you could even have it, a light comes on and it highlights the court, whatever, you know, there's all these kind of things that, in a way, I guess you could call it Americanizing, because they're all about entertainment within their sporting, within their sport. So I think this sort of event could have something like that involved. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Go as crazy you like in the comments with kind of things that you think could be used in an event like this. Honestly, I don't think there's a limit to how crazy you can be. So long as, actually no, I guess one thing would be that it needs to be simple enough to understand quickly. I think that would be one quite important factor. Okay, so there's a few more things, and these are much smaller. I've kind of got the main ones out of the way. I do think that next year they need to do two things when it comes to the kit. One, I think it could look a bit better. I thought all the kit wasn't the best, but the main thing about the kit is they need different sizes, because it seemed to be all Victor Axelsen size, all for someone who's 6'3" plus. The shirts pretty much drowned most of the girls. I think even some of them had to tuck it into their skirts or their shorts. Yeah, the shirts seemed to drown them. Players were rolling it up and all sorts. So whoever was in charge of kit, if you don't change the design, okay, that's just personal preference, but sizes, let's get some sizes properly done for the players. Another thing was, I saw on the live chat when I was watching a lot of these that the scoring in the corner was a little bit difficult to see. There was a few times where the score was actually the wrong way around, but yes, when I watched it on my TV, it was fine. It was very clear. But on your phone, which I think a lot of people, if they're like sat outside or whatever and they're watching it on the go, it was quite difficult to see. So maybe making that a little bit clearer. And lastly, I think one of the most common complaints about this was the commentators. One in particular.
Good backhand strike. Nice strike. Good strike. Another strike. Another strike. Good strike.
Ooh. Yeah, he wasn't the best commentator. So maybe an improvement on that. That's no knock against the guy, but that could have been improved. There was a lot of people that messaged me going, this commentator's annoying the shit out of me, he's so bad, and I think a lot of people in the live stream were also commenting that, and I'm sure there's other people elsewhere saying the same things. So maybe a better commentator. If you're watching this video Badminton XL and you want someone who's willing and able to do it, I'd give it a go. Not saying I'd be any better than the guy, but maybe I would be. Who knows? I've never actually tried commentary, but yeah, I'd give it a go. So if you're watching this, you know where to come. So those are my main areas that I believe this tournament could improve. Now it's time just to give some overall general thoughts. As you can tell, I really love this event. It was new, it was refreshing, it had some really cool innovations within it. It was great to see the players' camaraderie together, getting that nice mix between relaxed fun, enjoyment and competitive seriousness that produces the best badminton. Actually 3v3s, I don't know how many times I need to say how much I absolutely love them. I like the fact that the players were compensated nicely and they all seemed to really enjoy it. They all posting on social media thanking the organisers for running the event, and they all think it's a great thing for badminton, and I completely agree. I really do think events like this can help badminton. Some of you watching might be a little bit surprised, maybe a little bit by that, because when it comes to things that are a little bit outside of badminton tradition, I'm quite a purist when it comes to badminton. I'm usually a little bit skeptical and against it. I was really against the relay system at the World Juniors, and about 10 years ago there was a league set up within England called the NBL, the National Badminton League. I was actually a part of the inaugural year for that, and I didn't like that. Even though it didn't have that many gimmicky things, I didn't think it was good for badminton within England, because I feel like we needed a properly structured league, because we're one of the only countries in Europe that doesn't have like structured league that's competitive for like the higher level. We have club level for like club players, and then we have like a county league, which I guess could be seen as that, but that's a bit old and outdated. And I think a new refreshing league that has teams that can buy and bring in players from Europe and all over the world would be really good. And what we got was just, no, it wasn't what I think was good. But with this event, although it was more gimmicky than both those things, it had way different, all these aspects of it that aren't really badminton, I think that it absolutely worked, because it's its own thing, first of all, and it's filling a void within badminton that's needed. And we do need these kind of, I guess you could call it exhibition tournaments, that can showcase our sport to its best in a fun, engaging, entertaining way that can bring joy to us badminton fans, new people from outside the sport that want to come in, and obviously gives the players a platform to show themselves, because in the World Tour a lot of players are under their federations, they're probably heavily guarded, they do show themselves a little bit through their social media accounts, but at this tournament they were able to show it through the sport that they're amazing at and great at, which is badminton. So for me, this kind of event was absolutely amazing, and I really do hope that they continue to do this throughout the years, and it's not just a one-year thing. I really do hope that they come back next year even better. I'd like to see some more innovations, some new aspects. Obviously some of the stuff that I said needs to improve. I really hope they take that on board, whether it's coming from me or from you guys, so that an event like this can only grow into the future. I haven't really got much else to say other than love this event. There were some teething problems, as to be expected in an inaugural event. There obviously were some issues, and there's definitely some room for improvement, but I'm sure the organisers of this event will take that into consideration and come back better next year. Well, hopefully anyway. Yeah, I think I'll just end the video there. Thanks for watching. If you've watched this far, do get in the comments and let me know what you thought of the event, whether you thought it was good, bad, what could be improved, what you absolutely loved. Do you think I should be a commentator? Yes. Get in the comments. Like and share this video, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you like badminton or got an interest in it, or you like the stuff that I've done, then consider subscribing. I'd truly appreciate it. Thank you everyone.